I was 4.5 months pregnant. We were getting the genetic screening test done. The doctor comes back and tells me that my son had tested positive for trisomy 18, which is a fatal form of Down syndrome. He was dying inside the womb. He was dying inside the womb. Dying inside the womb.
Last week I came with the Lincoln Project and a few of their commercials, which are always on point. This week, what you saw in the beginning there, this is done by a group or a PAC named Democracy 2025. They're not affiliated, supposedly, with any Democratic or Republican side, but we know, obviously, what they're about. And funny enough, I found this on the Lincoln Project page. I don't know if they work together with Lincoln Project, but they obviously approve. So Donald Trump is crying into his cereal this morning, messing up his brand new bronzer, spray tan. I don't know. What's going on with that, by the way? Have you seen this? What are we doing? What is this? Anyway, he's crying, he's going ham, he doesn't like the fact that he's getting roasted because having to meet like actual lifelike, real independent women and not the press here to speak in the package battery operated Barbie dolls that follow behind him and do whatever he says and reassure him that his face isn't as orange as it is and that his is bigger than it is at all times. This is the reason for his ill content. He's getting flamed after going on Fox News town hall with all women and telling them that no, you're not unhappy with the Roe versus Wade decision. You are happy with it. You just don't know it yet.
Women are entitled to do what they want to and need to do with their bodies, right, including their unborn. Some are necessary to save their own lives. Why is the government involved in women's basic rights?
Right, good. I think it's great, and I'm glad you asked it. For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. Every legal scholar, the great ones, every lawyer, but the Democrats, the Republicans, the liberals, the conservatives, they wanted it brought out of the federal government and brought back to the states for a vote of the people, a much more liberal vote. But now it's where everybody has wanted it for years, and now it's working its way out in the states. Nobody wanted it to be in the federal government.
No, you're not upset about the decision with Roe v. Wade. You love it. You just don't know it yet. Trust me. Now, before we play this amazing, outstanding video that's so important, you have to watch it all the way through. I do have to say one thing. Just like my number one problem with every conservative idea for the past 30 years, why is it always only ever important when it affects you? The people that vote against this, that called women all kinds of names, that love to hate and judge everybody else until it affects you. And that doesn't mean that I don't feel for the women in this video, because if you don't, you're a monster, you're heartless, you're Trump or MAGA until you're one of them. And then you're not MAGA anymore. And that's the point. Watch this.
Until you go through it, I don't think you know how bad it can be.
I had no clue until this happened. It just felt unreal that it was happening to us.
That's what everybody says. It's not going to happen here. That's what I said too, and then it did. All I've ever wanted was to just have kids, And we finally got pregnant with Sora. And we were grateful, super grateful. 3 months after he was born, I found out we're having another boy. And we're overjoyed with excitement.
We were ecstatic when I first found out. The day I found out that I was pregnant, I started a pregnancy journal. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And then we found out it was twins. Twins.
I was 4.5 months pregnant. We were getting the genetic screening test done. The doctor comes back and tells me that my son had tested positive for trisomy 18, which is a fatal form of Down syndrome. He was dying inside the womb.
It started to unravel at the 12-week ultrasound visit. Baby A looked healthy, and with baby B, you'd see these large fluid masses within our son's head.
We were kind of thrown into a panic because not only was he suffering, but I was too. And we had a choice to make, and it was either put our child out of his misery and continue my life, or both of us were going to die.
I just spoke with the genetic counselor from my OB's office, and it just gets worse.
The genetic counselor just kept stopping mid-sentence, trying to tell me what I could do. All that she could tell me with certainty was that every day that this unviable twin continued to grow, the risks got greater and greater for the viable twin and myself. It was like she was going to be arrested for saying the word abortion out loud.
The national abortion landscape is rapidly changing.
At least 22 states are banning abortions, and
Idaho, Tennessee, and Texas.
Florida, from Texas, from Ohio.
The state of Alabama.
The near total abortion bans only allow abortions in cases of rape or incest, and if the life, not the health, but if the life of the mother is at risk.
The language in the law basically says to prevent the death of a mother. We shouldn't wait until they're sick and try to pull them back from the brink of death. That's not good medicine.
They couldn't do anything for me because I wasn't sick enough. You have to be on the borderline of death before they can even do anything.
I had no idea about any of the abortion bans with Roe v. Wade until this happened. My brain went into overdrive on what are we gonna do?
You have a patient looking at you saying, what do you mean I have to leave the state? What do you mean I can't stay here and get this care? But physicians who provide abortion care could face prison time.
Losing your license, jail time. There's just a lot of panic from many of the providers. We have had to airlift pregnant women out of the state so they could get the appropriate care they need.
We decided to go to Washington, D.C., which was like a 20-hour car ride.
We go in there, the room is just packed. I'm talking, we were sitting like this. It looked like it came straight out of a horror movie.
Like all these women seeking the exact same care, all because they had to be funneled into this one because you restricted them from going to all other states.
I was careening towards kidney failure. And I remember there were two doctors standing there, and one of them just kept repeating, she just kept going, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because she couldn't do anything. Her hands were tied. I knew that I just needed to make it to Colorado. I just knew I needed to get to that plane. It's been over a year and a half, and I still wake up with nightmares. I sit up in the middle of the night, just in a cold sweat, just drenched with this feeling of being hunted. And it doesn't go away because the laws aren't changing.
I was not the same after that. I was just empty. I felt cold. I hated the fact that I had to do that because nobody wanted to help me.
It's really heartbreaking to know that I couldn't do anything to protect Alyssa. I couldn't make decisions or do anything because a politician had already made the decision for me.
It wasn't just me. It was my family as well that I had to suffer. I never wanted to go through that again, so I just got a partial hysterectomy so I could never have any more kids. That killed my dream of having any more kids.
The oath is to provide the care that the patient needs. And I never would have imagined that that care would be criminalized. Your entire life and career could be threatened. And this is why you see so many of my colleagues leaving the state.
Idaho experiences a mass exodus of doctors in response to its abortion policy. 1 in 5 OBs have left the state of Idaho.
There's talk of, women having to wait as much as 6 to 8 weeks to be seen for a first OB appointment.
We already have these huge healthcare deserts, and that's just gonna get worse. It's gonna kill people.
Republicans say they want to enact a national abortion ban similar to Texas. Democrats want to restore Roe versus Wade through law.
For people who think they would never get an abortion, you could find yourself in a situation like mine where it didn't matter what I wanted. What I needed was an abortion.
I can't be on the borderline of death for you to be able to do something. If there is something wrong with my child and he is dying and he is killing me, I should be able to receive care for that. And I think it's pretty messed up that I couldn't.
Today in America, 1 in 3 women of reproductive age lives in a state with an abortion ban. Women have been refused care during a miscarriage, turned away from the emergency room. This is a healthcare crisis.
Access to medical care is a human right. Abortion is a human right.
Women's issues are America's issues.
If I need my country to stand for anything, I need it to stand for these women.
I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. And those women out there are too.
Henry is a year old now. I got an abortion to save him. My abortion was an act of love. It was an act of mercy for Thomas, who was our unviable son, and it was an act of love to save Henry.
Democracies cannot be strong if the rights of women are under attack. Stand with us.